the one with the rifle gets killed! The one who is following picks up the rifle and shoots!
Welcome to the 31st episode of the Pick Up the Rifle and Shoot series, featuring my CMP Daisy Model 853 air rifle. As you already know, I'm a really big fan of Daisy air rifles, especially my Red Ryders. Yes, that's plural with an S. My Red Ryder collection has grown quite a bit since my first one was featured in episode 11. Eventually, I became more and more interested in competition air rifles, especially since my YouTube feed has been inundated with a ton of Olympic air rifle competition videos. So that brings us to this episode. Have you guessed it? My very first 10-meter competition air rifle. Now, this episode took longer than usual to complete, as I took my time to learn and adapt to the new rifle, shooting a ton of pellets in my backyard range, which also took more time to plan and construct. But in the end, it was all worth it, and I couldn't be happier on how this episode turned out. So with that, here she is, my CMP Daisy Model 853 air rifle. Now you're probably wondering, how does the CMP, the Civilian Marksmanship Program, fits in all of this? Well, in fact, I bought my Daisy 853s used directly from the CMP, who reconditioned them back to factory specs. These 853s came from high school rifle teams and also JROTC units who've upgraded to a different rifle. The 853 was a 10-meter pellet match competition rifle approved by the CMP for the sporter category. This category is limited to only CMP-approved guns and also have a price cap to level the playing field among competitors, unlike the precision category where the Olympic athletes are. Now, special thanks to Tommy Whitten from the CMP for my 853s, and to the Daisy Museum for all the invaluable information on them. I'll put a link in the description for the CMP and also the Daisy Museum down below. Go ahead and check them out. Now I'll go over more detail, but first let's make sure she's all clear. First up is the wood stock and plastic butt plate with Daisy's logo. CMP offers also a Monte Carlo stock as an alternative, but I prefer to look with a classic regular stock. Also, I don't plan on shooting with an optic. CMP also included butt plate spacers to increase the length of pull if needed, which is a nice touch. On the left side of the receiver, you can see the rifle serial number that begins with USAG, with the letters US larger than the AG. As it turns out, these were the identifiers for the 853 versions Daisy made for the US government, confirmed with the Daisy Museum. Now, I don't know the purpose they were used for the US government, but it makes sense it was probably for JROTC. And below, you can see the caliber and type of air rifle, .177 caliber 4.5mm lead airgun pellet. Next, on top of the rifle has a dovetail for mounting a rear sight or optic. Here you can see a closer view of the Daisy 5899 match grade peep sight that CMP included, which is fully adjustable for windage and elevation. This rear sight is really well made, precise, and holds zero perfectly. Next, you can see the feed track. When open, allows the pellet to be guided into the chamber when closing the bolt. Next is the Lothar Walther barrel with rifling, which is a high quality precision barrel that the 853s are known for. Also on the left side of the barrel has the lot number 1H05113, which translates to the production date of my 853 to August 1991. Daisy guns made from 1982 to 1991 had lot numbers where the single digits signified the year of manufacture, followed by the letter which signified the month in which it was made. So A is for January through M December, and I was not used. Another special thanks to Daisy Museum for this information, really appreciate it. On the business end has the barrel weight and the front globe sight that houses different front sight inserts which CMP provided. I went ahead and chose a 3.6mm aperture insert which actually worked best for me. Here you can see the diagram I made and how the side picture looks, which did take me a while to get used to, but I do prefer it now over just a simple post. Now let's go flip around to the other side. Here's the right side of the beautiful wood stock, which I believe may be birch or some other hardwood. Here's another view of the excellent rear side. Both the windage and elevation knobs are precise and are able to be counted with clicks when adjusting. Also, the rear side aperture can be changed, and unfortunately there are no other apertures provided from the CMP. On the right side of the rifle, you can see Daisy's logo along with the Powerline 853 marking. There are also other variants such as the 853C, the Canadian version, which is clip-fed with 5 pellets and has a lower FPS rating. These are quite rare to find here in the States. Next is the plastic charging handle which resembles an M1's. And on the rear, you can see the rear manufacturer Daisy and their location in Rogers, Arkansas, USA. Up next is the trigger, which is actually pretty decent with a nice, clean, and crisp break. You can also see the crossbow safety in the front with the trigger guard and the air pump handle right in front of it. Overall, I'm very happy with my first ever 10-meter competition air rifle, and being a Daisy 853 made for the US government, reconditioned and sold by the CMP makes it all the more special. And as I mentioned earlier, it did take me a while to learn and adapt. However, the amount of trigger time I put in really paid off, and you'll see that in my range footage, and I'm actually quite impressed. So with that, let's get on with shooting. Off to the backyard 10-meter range. After adjusting the rear sight to hit center of the target, I shot these 3 pellets to confirm my 10-meter zero. Let's see how it went. The target I'm using is the NRA 10-meter air rifle target, AR-5/1, and the pellets I went with is the RWS Meisterkugeln Precision Pistol 7 grades wad cutters. We shot the best out of the 3 samples I tried, and I used it for all the shooting in this video. As you can see, the pellets group very well, all at the center of the target. Very cool. Alright, now it's time for the inaugural Backyard 2024 10-meter men's air rifle event with only one competitor. Me. That should be an easy gold, right? Okay, also please bear with me on the scoring format as I'm still a little confused how it works in competition, especially with decimals. So I just went ahead and scored it with whole numbers. The target I'm using is the NRA 10-meter air rifle target, AR-5/10, which has 10 targets and 2 sighters in the middle. Each target will get 1 shot and you'll move from left to right. Okay, so my score is 76 out of a possible 100. I'm not sure if that's good for a first timer, but good enough to win gold in the first ever Backyard 2024 Olympics. I'm just happy I didn't completely miss the black. I definitely need more practice. Okay, now it's time for some fun. Let's go on a duck hunt. With rubber ducks, that is. I set up 5 2-inch rubber ducks and challenged myself to knock them off with only 5 pellets. Now let's see how it went. Alright, a perfect 5 for 5. Very cool. Okay, now you think I would just limit myself to 10 meters? Let's see how it does at 50 yards. At 50 yards, I had to max out the elevation all the way up from my 10 meter zero, 77 clicks, and the pellets were still hitting 1 inch below the bullseye. Also, I left the windage as is as I felt it was close enough to the center. I then proceeded to shoot these 5 pellets to see how she does. Let's see how it went. When I looked at my spotting scope after shooting, I couldn't distinctly count all 5 pellets, and I figured some probably went off paper. And it's not until I walked down range to see the target up close that 3 of the pellets created one ragged hole. Simply amazing. As you can see, 4 of the pellets grew very well, measuring 98 hundredths of an inch, with the 5th being a flyer that keeled way right. Honestly, I didn't think this rifle was capable of this level of accuracy at this distance, as earlier I was already getting 2 MOA at 25 yards, which pretty much held all the way to 50 yards. Very cool. So with that, I can conclude that my CMP Daisy 853 can at least do 1.96 MOA at 50 yards with the pellets that I'm using. RWS Meisterkugeln Precision Pistol 7-grain wad cutters. So with this type of accuracy, you already know what's going to happen next. Another silly challenge. Welcome to the 3rd ever SpaghettiO's challenge with the Pick Up the Rifle and Shoot series. The first 2 were with my Red Ryder in episode 11. The challenge is simple. Just knock off 3 SpaghettiO cans in 3 shots at 50 yards. Let's see how it went. My point of aim was top center of each can, and watching each of them fall shot after shot was very satisfying. Honestly, I didn't think I would be doing this challenge at this distance, but seeing how she grouped earlier at 50 yards, I had no doubt that she could do it. Challenge completed. So, there you have it. My CMP Daisy 853 10-meter competition air rifle. Still doing it after all these years. I didn't think I would ever get into competition air rifles as I am right now. I'm even looking forward to watching the Paris 2024 Olympics this summer. My CMP Daisy 853 really exceeded my expectations, and then some, especially at 50 yards, which this rifle is not even meant for. And also being one made for the US government makes it all more special, giving that cool CMP milsurp vibe. Now special thanks to the CMP for making these air rifles available, and to the Daisy Museum for the invaluable information on them. Go and check them out with the links down below. I'm glad you did. You'll probably end up buying your own Daisy 853. Well again, I had a blast doing another episode, and as always, thanks for watching. Till next time.